benevolence and interaction with customer and employee. And the second one is the loyalty scores is 90%.
Hey everyone! Welcome to Syndicate discussion. We'll be diving into a topic that's super relevant in today's business world, which is business ethics. Before that, we will also present our appreciation to Mr. Andika, our beloved lecturer, for his amazing lecture during our MBA ethics class. So guys, we are excited to share some fresh insight with you. But first, let me introduce my amazing group syndicate. First, Andaru, and then myself, Billy, Dilal, Alpha, and Hana.
Hello.
In this video, we'll cover 3 keys points that every leader and entrepreneur should consider. The first one, how moral values shape ethical decision making. Second one, smart strategies to avoid moral neglect in business. And the last one, how we can actually apply ethical theories to real-world business situation. First, Alpha.
Give applause for us first.
Okay.
First, Alpha, bring the case right now.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, first I will share about my results score test and the personality test. The result is influence me to making decision to my own business. My own business is a laundry and villa, is a hospitality. Okay, and first my highest score in personality test is authority score 93%. This indicate that I respected all the rules and regulation in my business, while the conformity is the result from score test is highest. This indicate I conduct myself and act line with the social norm. In my case, which mean my business, I always ensure my business operation comply with the regulation and the standard, both in terms of regulatory compliance and interaction with customer and employee. And the second one is the loyalty scores is 90% from personality test is aligned with benevolence result from score test. This indicate I emphasize a concern to well-being of the others. In this case, I always ensure from my customers and my employees to get the value and the best service. Okay, and the last one for the highest scores is the proportionality test. From the personality test is the score 86% that indicate I give reward with proposition to contribution, while and scores from score test is achievement is the line I use in my business to give the reward system to my employees performance result. This is encourage to my employees to keep their spirit at work. By the combining for the all result test, I can make more effective and sustainable decision. What do you think, guys, about my result?
I think I will give a comment, Billy, to Alpha regarding his result on personality test. As you mentioned before, your personality score is the highest score is on authority, right?
Right.
Which is, I think it's good for several cases. Like, you know, maybe it's because you have a very good in authority, you will value regulation, your culture in your business, and so on and so forth. But what I'm thinking is when you are too authoritative, it's also possibly affect to your day-to-day operation. What I mean is, if you are too authoritative, you may limit your employees' creativity. So you have to still give a space for your employees, so then you can balance your authority and the creativity and the innovation on your business. That's what I think. What do you think, guys?
Okay, so I think I'd like to add on that.
So I think source value is an exciting tool for us to use. And I found that my own Schwartz value test differs from Alpha's. My highest score is in tradition and hedonism. So I found that tradition is an important part of my life, and that I tend to stay away from actions which are not traditional, particularly from Indonesian values, as well as more local values, like as values from the Javanese culture, like being polite, respect to the elders, and personal sacrifice, and many other values. I also found that uh, my hedonism score is high, which means that I value pleasure in my life, and I found that I try to make an enjoyable working environment in my organization or in my workplace, and I would not make anyone work in an uncomfortable environment. I think this is something that you could try to put in your laundry business, which is to make your workplace enjoyable, or maybe add amenities and other things. Okay.
I think about my opinion. Alpha as a businessman use insight from SWOT tests to ensure rule-abiding and ethical operation, reflecting compliance with social regulatory norms. That's a good thing, Alpha, especially since this is important for building trust and a good reputation, both with customer and employees. In addition, by emphasizing the value of loyalty and benevolence, Alpha demonstrate genuine concern for the well-being of employees and customers, which is an important foundation for maintaining a good relationship and increasing satisfaction. How about Hana opinion?
Okay, can I develop a bit more on your ideas? Okay. In this matter, I feel like giving a complete freedom, just like Dil suggests, should not be applied completely as a whole, especially in Alpha's laundry business. Although it is good, but the nature of the cleaning business itself is full of risks, and therefore, things should be done as the procedure is already in place. But and I also agree with what Billy said, since I also a person who embrace benevolence based on my test result. Creating an environment where we could provide a space where employees can feel more valued is suitable and feasible for people like us to do in a business, because we are care for workers' well-being. And Anders' input is also insightful because it could provide us with different point of view, in which we should try to create an environment where people can enjoy their work. In Alpha's case, it's his worker. So by combining everyone's opinion in this matter, I think the best thing that Alpha could do as a businessman is create an environment and culture where employees can actively participate by giving ideas and suggestions, so they can create a sense of value and enjoying their work. For example, in Alpha's business laundry, creating a solution where when dealing with stains, for example, in customers' clothes can make them feel more valued. Okay, now let's talk about strategies to avoid moral neglect, moral justification, and moral inaction in organization based on a case that Billy has prepared. Okay, Billy.
I have some case about moral neglect.
Okay,
It's
okay.
interesting.
Many large companies in Indonesia use an outsourcing system to reduce labor costs. Outsourced workers often earn wages far below the minimum wage,
Yeah, yeah.
have no social security, and poor working condition. Although companies realize that these workers are experiencing financial hardship and lack of protection, they ignore this issue in favor of profit and efficiency. I think, in my opinion, from the company perspective, the use of outsourcing is often seen as a way to reduce costs and improve operational efficiency. However, from a business ethic perspective, it shows a moral neglect when companies do not consider the welfare of workers. While economic efficiency is important, business ethics require companies to ensure the protection of worker basic right. How about Hannah opinion?
Okay, I also agree with you, Billy, because it is a classic issues in companies when they need more labor, but at the same time with less cost than their organic employee. In reality, many companies practice moral neglect in terms of workers' welfare to fulfill companies' favor in profits and efficiency. So, in my opinion, I think there are some certain ways in which a company can address these outsourcing issues, such as the first one is ensuring that the company still pays or gives allowance for BPJS Ketenagakerjaan and or Kesehatan, which is the mandatory. And the second one is making sure that the workforce and the pay are equal. For example, it is either to make less working hour for outsourced employee or just raising their pay. And the third one, I think it's to making sure that the employment is comply with regional regulation. In these ways, I think these companies can minimize its ethical issues in outsourcing employment. What about you, Dilal?
Yeah. I think one of the thing that you said,
Yes.
especially about classic issues, right?
Yes, yeah.
I couldn't agree more with Hannah. It happened again and again in business activity, especially in Indonesia. And what I think is there is three reason behind it. The first one is the lack of advocacy and awareness. I think many workers in Indonesia may not fully understand their rights, and also this is especially true in regions or industry where labor laws and ethical business practices are not well published or enforced. The second one is the power imbalance. Even when workers are aware of their rights, in the some cases they often feel powerless. So like they think they couldn't do nothing with the case, like in your case also. So the dare to speak up is not always within every workers, I think. And the last is the cultural acceptance of authority. There is also a cultural element where difference to authority and hierarchical structures might discourage workers from challenging unethical practices or advocating for better condition. So I think uh, what I suggest is in the view of HR, we have to raise awareness to our employees that something bad have to be reported, and we have to advocate all the things that we think it's not ethical. That's what I think.
Good idea, Dilal. I want to hear your opinion, Alpha.
Okay. Thank you for your opinion, Billy, Hannah, and Dilal. I think I agree with your opinion because in Indonesia is the usually things in company
Yeah.
is
It's common, right?
it's common activity in Indonesia. So because the company now that outsourced workers earn low wage, but the company ignore and focus on profit. The focus on profit, only focus on profit. The company should look after the welfare of all the workers. So the moral neglect is destroy the principle of the fairness and business ethics. This is my opinion.
Good highlight, Alpha. I want to hear from the leader group syndicate.
Yes, under
Waiting for that.
Okay, so I think for this case of outsourcing workers, I believe that companies should not be neglectful to their workers. They should have upheld the welfare of their workers and stay away from unethical sources of labor. I believe it is reasonable and within their power for these companies to be able to pay their workforce in accordance to the rules and regulations in a way that Hannah has outlined before, such as paying for BPJS, and there are already standards and regulations in this matter. So there is no good reason for why they neglect their obligations. Okay, and also I have another case.
Ooh, what case?
I have another case, and if the previous one discuss about moral neglect, this one discuss about moral justification. So some of Indonesia's major mining companies operating in Papua often damage the environment and ignore the rights of local indigenous communities. They cut down forests, they pollute rivers, and they displace local communities. However, companies often justify their actions on the grounds that their project contribute to the regional economic development. They provide job and increases local revenue through taxes. So, what do you guys think about this case of
Okay.
justification?
I think I will first give my opinion, right? Thank you,
Okay.
Andaru. The case I think is the back to the first case is the more profit for the companies, right?
Yes.
Okay. I think in the mining case in the Papua is the classic example from the moral justification because the company use reasons such as contribution to economic development, job creation, which is the violated community rights and the damaged environment. This is a form of social comparison and self-verification, where the companies compare the positive impact of the project they run will be damaged they produce, then convenience themselves that way what they are doing is right.
Thank you, Alpha and Andaru. I will explain my opinion about the Papua case. This case demonstrates the conflict between economic development and environmental justification about the conflict are often inadequate, as the long-term harm to the environment and communities is not outweighed by the short-term economic benefit. It is therefore important for the government and communities to demand accountability and transparency. That's the highlight from this company. I think the policies to protect the environment and community rights can help achieve sustainable and ethical development.
Yeah, agree.
You agree, Dylan?
Yes, yes, of course, yes.
I want Hana opinion.
Okay.
Okay. I think I want to add some more point of view because in this case, I think moral justification is happening due to the company's spread wide belief that what they did in the company is giving economical benefit, just like everyone has said, for the people, such as job creation and contributing the country's income through taxes. And they also believe that their permission and obligation to pay taxes is part of their responsibility to the environment and people nearby their operation site. But I also believe that this moral justification in this case will be shifted because thankfully there is UN SDGs awareness that is spreading through the government and also the investor, and I think it will impact to the company itself because they soon will realize that the company has to be more responsible to the environment and the local communities, especially within their operation area, in order to maintain their business sustainability. Okay.
Good idea.
Yes.
Good opinion.
Yeah, and I think Billy, you bring a very good case. It's real and it happened in Indonesia, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And I also agree with all of your opinion. My thought is in line with your opinion. This case like exemplifies the moral justification in business practices, where companies indeed oftenly rationalize bad things or bad action by claiming other thing as a good impact. And I think it's a propaganda, right? So and
Propaganda.
so what I learned from this case is we as a future business owner or a leader or a director probably, hopefully, right, in the future, I think we have to aware that our company must acknowledge the adverse effect of our operation, and we have to seek solution that protect both the environment and community rights, a genuine commitment to ethical businesses, and also consider the long-term consequences of every single decision that we make in our company.
Agree.
That's what I think. Probably the next one I want to share also
Okay.
the case. It's about the moral inaction. Uh, I may not share the real case, but I will define the definition first, and then you may share your own
Okay,
opinion about
okay.
this. Right? So guys, know about the moral inaction. This is the situation when you actually could do something, but you decide to do not.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you see that, yeah. And the moral inaction itself, it's more deeper than that. Moral inaction is the situation when you see unethical things, but you don't do.
Nothing.
Yeah, you do nothing. You don't do anything. You do nothing. Uh, Although you have a chance to do that, but you don't do that. So you ignore the ethical issues in front of you, and in the view of ethics perspective, it's a very bad behavior, I think. So I want to discuss it. What do you guys think? What are the good strategies to prevent this kind of moral inaction in your future business activity? Because I think it's also common in the business. Can each of you give a view?
Okay,
Maybe
okay.
from Alpha?
Okay, I will give my opinion first. What I think first, let's say someone in your team noticed that the another employee is fudging the numbers report, like cheating.
Okay. Okay.
Cheating.
Cheating.
Okay.
They know it's wrong, but don't say anything because they don't want to cause drama. Classic case, moral inaction, right?
Yes.
Yes.
One strategy to prevent that is open communication culture. If your team feels like can bring up concern without getting in trouble, they are more likely to speak up. You just have to create an environment where people feel like comfortable calling out stuff that's shady. Maybe have a regular check-in where people can share concern anonymously or directly. Keep it chill and no judgment, just honestly.
Okay, okay. But how if this culture, how if this culture lead your team to tend to be report each other in your business activity, like throwing slenders for personal reason? What do you think about that?
Yeah. Then in my any cases, you have to stay neutral first. You have the neutral first. When someone reports an issue, as the leader, don't freak out or pick side right away. You have to neutral because you're leader. Stay calm and listen to both sides without making assumption. You don't want either person to feel judged too quickly. It's my
Okay.
opinion.
Okay.
I see. Besides open communication, what other strategies do you think can help prevent moral inaction in a company? Maybe I want to hear the opinion from Andar.
Okay. Our leader.
Okay, so I think one of the things that might be we can think about is that, let's say someone in your team sees that your supplier is using an unethical practice like exploiting labor, or maybe more commonly in Indonesia it's more like suppliers giving bribes or achieving a tender via gifts and other thing to the purchasing team or
Yeah,
other
yeah,
team member.
I heard a lot about that.
Yeah, I think it's something that we can agree happen in
Yeah.
Indonesia. And we often found that no one reports it because they feel like, oh, it's not my job to report
Okay,
it,
it's happening a lot.
or it is my boss, so what
Yeah.
can I do? And one of the strategy to overcome it is to create a clear accountability system. It's almost the same with Alpha said, and here's how it works. So when everyone knows that they're personally responsible for reporting unethical stuff, they're less likely to ignore it. So we need to make it their part of the job description,
Yeah.
or team value or company value, so they don't feel vindicted if they are, or they don't feel guilty if they do it. And another thing is maybe we can set up some sort of whistleblowing system so that everyone can tell it safely.
Yeah.
They feel safe because sometimes it might affect their livelihood. So they might tell their boss and then they get their paycheck reduced and other kind of thing, other kind of consequences. So I think, yeah, in conclusion, it's make sure that they know it's their responsibility.
How do you think a company could effectively implement this accountability system? What specific steps would you suggest?
Concrete steps.
Okay. So one of the most important thing is to set up clear expectation on this. So we need to tell everyone from all level, from the managerial level to the employee level, that everyone need to report unethical behavior. Tell them it's part of their job, and we need to have a clear system. So you have like an email or someone in the company that you can tell safely about it. So you can make a system so uh, it is safe for the whistleblower to bring the information to us so that the company can operate more ethically.
Oh, I see. I see. Billy and Hannah, both of you are not give your opinion yet, but I want to ask more deep conversation about this. Yeah, I want to jump to the definition and the assumption from both of you. I want to know from your view, is like inaction can be moral or immoral? Because it's still debatable until now. What do you think?
There is a good question, Dila. I think in moral inaction, especially when you can do something about it, is most certainly immoral.
Immoral. Okay.
It is our moral responsibility towards the environment that we live in to take action when something is not right.
Yeah.
This sense of moral responsibility is the source of courage for so many inspirational figures in history. I remember the quotes from Kate's character in National Treasure.
Wow,
Wow,
what did you
okay.
get there?
If something is wrong, those who have the ability to take action have the responsibility to take action. There is a beautiful meaning for me. The level of response, of course, can be different for different people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think like that.
Okay, okay, okay. So, what do you think, Hannah? Do you have a different view on it?
Okay. For me, inaction can be both moral and immoral,
Okay.
depending on the situation. Okay. For moral inaction, this can happen when you choose not to act in a situation where doing nothing is the right choice, just like
Okay.
you say. For example, if you see someone getting a fight and you might want to jump in because it's like what you feel like it, but it actually could escalate the fight itself. So by staying out of it might actually be the moral call.
Okay.
And for the immoral inaction, if you see something wrong happening, like someone being bullied or witnessing unethical behavior at work, just like you guys' example, and you choose to do nothing, that's often considered immoral. It's like knowing you could help but deciding to stay silent and inactive, which can be perpetuate harm.
Okay. I got it. So you want to say that inaction really depends on the context
Yes,
and the
yes, the
situation.
context is matter.
Okay. I think, is there any other case that you want to share?
Okay, I have a case.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to talk about theories of ethics and about solving ethical issues or dilemmas in business decision making. Okay, so in 2006, a hot mud leakage or lumpur panas is occurred in Sidoarjo due to drilling operation by PT Lapindo Brantas. And this incident resulted in environmental damage, the destruction of homes, and the displacement of thousands of people. And the company faced an ethical dilemma in dealing with these issues, whether to take full responsibility for the impacts or just to follow the minimal legal obligation. And in my opinion about this case, based on the theory's ethic, looking at the ethical deontology as the cause of the disaster is remain unclear to this day, they can actually deal this issue by follow the only minimal legal obligation since it is based on the existing regulation that currently occurred in Indonesia. But looking at the consequences that happen since the damage have already done with many people actually lost their houses, I think PT Lapindo should at least provide residence for evacuated people in the site. And in the end, when talking about fear to ethics or the right thing that we should do or the business should do, PT Lapindo should take on full responsibility as a result of the damage that are caused by their operation. So that is my opinion. What about Andarus? Do you have opinion about this case?
I think
Always
Okay.
interesting.
Yeah, because the leader.
Okay, I think I would like to at the point of view from at on the ethical deontology
Okay.
point of view.
Yes.
So I think we need to ask a simple question: is do Lapindo Brantas comply with legal and moral obligation to protect the environment and the society? So it's all about their duty to the society. So in my opinion, PT Lapindo Brantas has a moral duty to the society to bring reparations for the people of Sidoarjo who are affected by the disaster, such as having their home destroyed, etc. And it is their obligation because the company caused the incident and they should be held responsible. It is also their legal duty which they have done to the certain extent.
I want to hear from Dila.
Okay.
Okay.
Maybe if Andaru talk about the ontology, I will jump into the consequentialism perspective. But I think the my opinion will be in line with you. I don't agree with what PT Lapindo did in their company, and it's also cannot be normalized in the consequentialism perspective because first it is consequentialism prioritize the well-being of individuals and communities. So if PT Lapindo action do not enhance the welfare of those who affected, they cannot be considered ethically. So I think as a consequentialist, my standpoint is that PT Lapindo Brantas should prioritize the outcome of their action in response to the mud leak disaster, like focus on the impact and then beyond legal obligation, provide support, and also aware to the long-term responsibility. PT Lapindo should take comprehensive action to mitigate the damage caused by the mud leak, focusing on the welfare, as I mentioned before. That's what I think.
I think from the Lapindo case, I have one question in my mind about the fear to ethics. Did Lapindo decision show integrity and concern for the victims or just focus on profit? I think from a virtue ethics perspective, PT Lapindo Brantas' decision in the Sidoarjo mood disaster are assessed based on whether they demonstrate integrity, care, and responsibility. If the company only fulfills minimal legal obligation and focus more on profit, it shows a lack of virtues such as an empathy and responsibility. So, if Lapindo did not show any real concern for the victims and only focus on profit, their actions are not in line with the virtue ethics. I think like that. I want to hear from Alpha your
Okay,
opinion
okay.
about stakeholder theory.
This is my turn to explain the stakeholder theory.
Yes.
Okay, in my opinion, based on the stakeholder theory, PT Lapindo Brantas should take full responsibility to for disaster in Sidoarjo. Stakeholder theory emphasizes that companies have to responsibility not only to shareholder but also other parties, including the surrounding community who lost their homes. By only complying with minimal legal obligation, the company failed to fulfill its ethical responsibility. I think I have a last case.
Okay.
Will be discussed. I will explain. This is case about the PT Freeport.
Okay. Okay.
You know PT Freeport, right?
Of course, of course.
Big company in Indonesia.
The big company in Indonesia. PT Freeport Indonesia, which operates gold and copper mines in Papua, has faced criticism over environmental pollution and social conflicts with local communities. Waste spills and river pollution from mining operation have been highlighted, while indigenous Papuans have demanded land rights and compensation. In my opinion, PT Freeport failed ethically. They are ignored their moral obligation to protect the environment and the rights of the indigenous peoples and caused negative impacts to outweigh the benefits. And the company also failed the demonstrate responsibility and fairness and ignored the interests of local communities as a stakeholder. The company should act more responsibility. I wanna hear about the ethical deontology from Billy.
I think from a deontological ethics point of view, if Freeport doesn't comply with environmental and social responsibility standards, then they are in violation of ethical obligation. According to deontology, ethical actions are determined by adherence to rules and obligation, not just outcomes. So if Freeport doesn't comply with that, they are not acting ethically according to the deontological ethics principle. I think like that. I want to hear from Hannah's opinion.
Okay. First of all, when we're talking about consequentialism, we have to talk about the impact that has happened in this Freeport case. Because in this case, the consequences that are happen is although Freeport's mining operations generate economical benefits, their carelessness in mining their sites lead to environmental pollution, as what Alpha just said, and social conflicts. And the least that the company can do with the as the consequence of these incidents are conducting environmental damage control and to restore the environment and also rebuild its relationship with the people. So that is my opinion. And what about you, Andaru? Do you have opinion about this case?
Okay, I think we can see it from a virtue ethics standpoint. So in this case, Freeport does not act with fairness to the local communities, and they also show lack of care. And the company only cares about their own interests. So if they really care about the people surrounding their mines, I think they wouldn't let pollution enter their land. So the company might not have breached any regulation.
Yeah, yeah.
So they might have uh, done good deontologically, but in this case, they did not show virtue to the surrounding communities. And because of that, we can judge their action as unethical in this
Yeah, yeah.
instance.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
The last
yeah,
one,
the
the
last
last
one.
one, I
Okay,
think.
okay. I want to see this case from the stakeholder theory, which is why this happened. I think it's because the report might be not aware to the stakeholder rights. They just focus on the shareholders. So at the Freeport actions which have to lead to environmental pollution and disregarded for indigenous Papuan and rights reflect a failure to meet their ethical obligations by providing prioritizing profit over the welfare of the local community and environmental health. They have neglected key stakeholders. So I think this case again and again remind us that in a very business aspect, there is risk for our stakeholders. So we don't have to just focus on the shareholders. We don't have to be just or only focus to the profit, but we have to focus also on the stakeholder itself, like the indigenous people in around the company, the customer itself, and the employee in our company in the future. That's what I think.
I think there is a lot of good insight from this discussion, and I hope this insight very helpful for your future. And before we close the discussion, maybe one or two words from the leader of the syndicate,
Yeah, yeah,
please.
Okay, so I think based on our discussion, so far we have seen that maybe from the last 20 years, as our cases last spent up until today, there are still many cases of unethical business operation in Indonesia. So I hope that because we have learned about ethics, we hope that we can use it in our daily life, in uh, in our power to create a better environment and to create a more ethical working and business environment in Indonesia.
Yes.
So be ethical and concern your environment and your social aspect also.
Okay,
Not just
okay.
the profit.
Thank you and see you in the next Syndicast.
Thank you.
Thank you.